So, I have もうちょっとありますね。5分ぐらいありますね。So I have 5 minutes to go. So, maybe you may or may not know Harvard study of adult development. This was the longest survey in human history. It started 1938. 724 people, men, were selected at the age of 19, and half of them were students from Harvard University, and another half was from maybe the slum district of the same age, and they observed, and it's still continuing. It is still ongoing, and 60 people are still remain. And the purpose of this study was to determine the most important factor for human happiness and human health. And they found that this is the doctor, of the fourth director of this study. 75 years. It was 75 years of observation. And so the academic career has no relation to this happiness, or the economical, gain was also has no relation. Neither the social status which the person achieved. The most critical or most important factor was the closeness of human relationship, the closeness of the person and his or her, for example, families or his friends or colleagues. It's quite simple, but it's very, very important, the closeness of human relationship. That determines our happiness. That's the result of 75 years of observation, okay? And you can also see his lecture by addressing this, this code. Okay, let me skip this. Let me skip this. Okay, so this is my the last slide of my ideas, of my creed, and like a take-home message. Okay, and I have 3 keywords or life or messages. But this message was not meant to you. First of all, meant to myself first, okay? And secondly, to my son. But if you buy this idea, it's yours. Okay. Okay, before I introduce you the first life word, let me quote this. I must be willing to give up what I am in order to become what I will be. I must be willing to give up what I am today in order to become what I will be tomorrow. The parentheses are the words I added. So original word without these parentheses. Can anyone guess who said this? The same person. Einstein. Einstein said this, yes. From this message, we know that we recognize that even Einstein wanted to transform himself, right? So, can ordinary people like us grow without self-transformation? My answer is no. So my first life word or keyword is self-transformation. Self-transformation. But I do this not in a very rigid mean, but I'm ready to be flexible to cope with the ever-changing realities of the society and of myself. Because when I accumulate ages, there are many things that I cannot do. So under such circumstances, I have to change. I cope with I have to be ready to cope with changing the reality of myself. That's what I mean self-transformation. And secondly, always to have the sense of awe and gratitude to everything which occurs to me, and enjoy the present moment as much as I can, just like I'm doing right now. Okay, and always to keep Triple C in mind. Triple C stands for compassion, curiosity, and challenge. This is my life motto. This is my lesson to myself. Okay, to myself. Okay, let's skip this. Since I advocate, challenge, I did some small challenge by myself. 2 years ago, I joined a race to climb Mount Fuji. I didn't have confidence, but I dared to challenge. It's called Zero Fuji Race. Zero Fuji Race. It literally starts from sea level and aim all the way to the top highest peak of the Mount Fuji, Kengamine, and then return to the starting place within 24 hours. And it took, for me, it took 17 hours to get to the highest peak of Mount Fuji, and another 3 hours to return to fifth step. So I had only 4 hours left, but had still to go 50 kilometers to go. So I returned from the race, but I made it at least one way in one stretch. But I didn't have confidence. But I anyway did it. I tried it. I dared to. I tried it. So be challenging. Do your challenge, any challenges. And this was the picture. This was the picture which appeared on Sanichi Shimbun and also Shizuoka Shimbun next day. Okay. Thank you very much for your attention.